Right, very good afternoon to all of you. In the previous classes of the OOC discussion, we have studied that how a superclass reference variable can refer to a subclass object. So we have seen this how a superclass reference variable can refer to a subclass object. That is, a reference variable of a superclass can be assigned a reference to any of the subclass that must have been derived from it. In that case, what was the restriction? In that case, the superclass reference variable can only access the data which are present in the superclass. It cannot access the data which are present in the subclass. So this is what we have discussed in the previous class. Now let us see two uses of the super keyword. So this is an frequently concentrated question, like explain the two usages of super keyword, or explain how the super keyword is used. Super keyword is used. So there are two main uses. We can use the super to call the constructor of the superclass. In an inheritance hierarchy, we will be having superclass and the subclass. The first use here is we can use the super keyword just to invoke the constructor of the superclass. Because in the inheritance hierarchy, we'll be having something like this. It is a superclass and it is a subclass. Subclass is going to inherit properties from the superclass, and subclass will be having its own superclass will be having its own constructors, and subclass will also be having its own constructors. They'll be having their own constructors. Now, when you are present in the subclass, say assume let us give for this as name A for superclass, for subclass name B. Now, if there is a method called something like this B, then it is constructor of the subclass. When there is a method something like this, that is constructor of the superclass. So what basically constructor is going to initialize the object. Now while being in the subclass, if you want to invoke the constructor of the superclass, just you can simply use the keyword like this super and then arguments, whatever arguments you want to pass. So that is one usage. It will simply invoke the constructor of the superclass. That is, from the present class, you can just go and call the constructor present in the superclass. That is what is one usage, and its syntax is something like this. Just use super, meaning that from wherever you are present, call the constructor of its superclass. Just call the constructor of its immediate superclass. That is what is the meaning. Call constructor of its immediate superclass. Assume there is one more hierarchy of inheritance here, which we are discussing later now immediately. There is one more class C, and it is the constructor of C. While being in the subclass C, if you invoke the method like this, constructor super followed by the list of arguments, then this is going to call constructor present in the immediate superclass. The immediate superclass for C is B. The immediate superclass for B is A. So basically, super is used to call constructor of the superclass. That is one usage. Another usage is simply we can call any of the members present in the superclass just by using the dot operator, which is the usual notation what we know. That is, if there is one member which is present in the superclass, you want to access that member from the subclass, just use the term keyword super dot which member you want to access. That's very simple. So meaning here is we want to access this particular member from the immediate superclass. Particular member from the immediate superclass. So for example, if you consider this same scenario only, assume there is an variable called variable integer type I here in the superclass A, right? When there is a variable I, that means if you want, while being executing in the subclass B, if you want to access this member I from the superclass, that is possible. How you can write? Just use the keyword super dot I. What it indicates here is for the immediate superclass, for its own superclass, for class B, which is the superclass, A is the superclass. That means from the superclass, I am trying to access member I. That's it. So these are the two usages of the superclass. For the first usage, let us study one example program. So what was the first usage? First usage was we can call constructor of the superclass. So let us take one example program. What is that? Demo box wait. That is whatever our box example is there, right? Let us study the same example. This is as usual the box class being defined. These are the three members of the box. The same class we are considering throughout the explanation for all the concepts. So data members are width, height, and depth. And next, this is the constructor of the superclass box when all the dimensions are given. When width, height, and depth are specified, this particular constructor will be invoked. Next, this is the volume of the just the function to calculate volume of the box. Right? So this is where the inheritance is involved. So what we are doing here is one level of inheritance is there. That is box weight is an subclass which is inheriting properties from the box. Box weight is a subclass which is inheriting properties from the box. That means what happens with this here is we have the box superclass. For our understanding purpose, I'll explain it. This is box class or box object. So what are the data members of this? Width, height, and depth are the data members. Along with that, it has one constructor also. Along with that, it has one box constructor also. Along with that, it has one volume function. Second, yes, volume function and the box. So just pictorially, I'll represent it. That is one volume function and the box constructor. This is what is the notion of the box object or box class. Next, we are performing inheritance. That is, box weight is inheriting all the properties of box, or we are creating one more object called box weight. Box weight, obviously, which will inherit properties. So what it is? It is box weight is an subclass which is extending box, that means obviously it will have these members. I think I need not explain, but still I like that is width, height, depth, volume, box, whatever, everything it will inherit the properties from the superclass. Along with that, it has its own member. What is that? Its own member. Weight is its own member. That means that I will show it here. Weight is its own member. WEIGHT. Yes. Weight is its own member. Right? And this is the constructor of the subclass. See here. Box weight is the constructor of the subclass. Here. Name of the class here is box weight. Name of the method here is box weight. That means we are concentrating on the that this is nothing but constructor of the subclass. So for that, I'll try to show it like this. Box weight is the constructor of the subclass. So obviously it will take all the dimensions. What are the dimensions? Width, height, depth, and M indicates weight of the box. M indicates how much it is weighing. Right. So now when this is the scenario, now let us go back to the main function. With these notions, what we have done, we have defined superclass and we have defined subclass. That is superclass object and subclass object. Now let us go as usual. The execution will start from the main function. So what we are doing here is, here we are creating object of the subclass. Remember, not of the superclass. We are creating object of this particular subclass because it is box weight. We are calling constructor called box A weight, and by passing 10, 20, 15, and 34.3 as the parameters. And whatever is the outcome of this RHS, that is being assigned as a reference variable weight my box reference variable my box 1. Right now, first let us see what happens in this RHS part. We are creating a new object. That means box weight constructor is being called. What this does, it is going to invoke the box weight constructor. It's going to invoke the constructor called box weight. And what are the parameters? 10, 20, 15, 34.3. What are the parameters? 10, 20, 15, and weight is 34.3. These are the parameters what you are passing. And within the definition of the constructor, if you can see, this is where we are calling constructor of the superclass. This is where we are calling constructor of the superclass. That means we are assigning some initial values for width, height, and depth for the superclass, because those members are defined in the superclass. That means from the constructor present within the subclass. This is the definition of the subclass, and we are executing constructor of the subclass. From within the constructor of the subclass, we are calling constructor of the superclass. That means now control will get transferred to definition of the superclass. And just show it like this. Control will get transferred to definition of the superclass. Yes, this is what is the superclass constructor. This is what is superclass constructor. We need not specify the name of the constructor here. Even though we want to call this box constructor, we need not specify name of the constructor called box. We can simply write super of, that means that's what we are doing. What we are doing, just super of WHD. That means super of 10, 20, 15. So these parameters will be passed and this constructor will be called. That is 10, 20, and 15. And this is going to initialize the superclass object. That is 10, 20, 15 will get initialized. 10, 20, 15 will be initialized. And later, as usual, anyhow, those members will be inherited, or they will be accessible here. They will be accessible in the subclass of the Y, because it is going to inherit all the members from the superclass. That is 10, 20, 15. And immediately after, this is the statement where we call constructor of the superclass. Now, immediately after this, what is the next statement? This is the normal assignment. That is, the weight value is being assigned to the weight member of the subclass. So that is, I think one more I should write here. That is, let us assume this as weight member. Weight member will get a value of M. What is value present in M? 34.3. 34.3 is the value. Right? And remaining statements as usual, we are, when you come back to the, one second. Just now we have seen what happens in the RHS part. What is the outcome of this RHS? Outcome of this RHS is we have created new subclass object. And while creating this subclass object, we have called constructor of the superclass. We have called constructor of the superclass. And the outcome of this RHS is being assigned to the reference variable. What is that name of the reference variable? My box one. What is its type? Box weight. That means subclass object only. So my box one. For this, we are giving name. What is that name of that object now? Which we are going to create is my box one is the object. My box one is the object. Now onto that my box one, we are calculating value, displaying the value, then displaying the weight of the my box one. So as usual, things will appear for normal member access. This is how we access, or we can call constructor of a superclass by using super keyword. Multi-level inheritance. So what basically multi-level inheritance here is, this page is repeated here, that's why I skipped that. Okay, multi-level inheritance means one subclass is acting as superclass for another subclass. That is what is multi-level inheritance. I think just now I have explained you here. Yes, this is what is multi-level inheritance. B is subclass of A, C is subclass of B, and all the functionalities remain same. This is what is multi-level inheritance. What happens basically in a multi-level inheritance? A subclass can act as a superclass for another subclass. So this multi-level hierarchy can go on repeating. For multiple number of levels, we can have this multi-level inheritance. So I'll take one example for our simple box example only, whatever we are discussing. So that will help us to better understand the things. Box weight, shipment. Right? what we know is till now box class we know and box weight class we know. Two classes we know. This is the box class which we know already, that is value. Then this is box weight, which is also known to us. Box weight is inheriting all the properties from the box. Now after this box and box weight, we are creating third level hierarchy. Just I will write. I need not write all the internal details now. I'll only write this box. Box is a superclass. Next, we created one more class called, what was that? Box weight is another class. Now the third class called shipment. Shipment is the third class. That is how the multi-level inheritance it works. Shipment is extending box weight. That means shipment is extending box weight. Shipment is extending box weight. And box weight is extending what? See here. Box weight is extending box. Box weight is extending box. So till now we were studying about two classes. So this is super class for box weight. Box weight is superclass for shipment. That's it. It is possible. Then shipment can be superclass for one more subclass. And in all the ways, the properties of inheritance are same. That means this subclass can access the members of the superclass, but this shipment cannot directly access the members of the box. If this wants to access members of the box, it should go through the box weight reference. It should go through the box weight reference. So that is one thing which you should remember. And this is the main function, like how we usually do. Our main function, we are now creating object of the shipment. We are now creating an object of this particular subclass shipment by passing parameters 10, 20, 15, 10 and 3.41. So what is this last one? 3.41 is cost. We are assuming cost because here when you consider the shipment class, it is defining its own member. What are the members of shipment class? Shipment class is having its own members. What are the members? I think I should have space here. I will show it here. 3, 4, 5. That is weight, width, height, depth, weight, and one more member is cost. So this is what is shipment class. This class only I have shown here because of space, unavailability of space. I have shown it here. Okay. Now let us see the definition of the shipment class. It has defined its own member called cost. So its own member is cost. This weight is derived from the box weight, whereas these are derived from the box, right? So now shipment constructor is being called. Shipment constructor is being called by passing 10, 20, 15, 10 and 3.4 as a parameter. So what are the parameters that it is receiving? Weight is 10, 20, 15. What is the weight? Again it is 10 and cost is 3.41. Now immediately what it does, it's going to call constructor of the superclass and initialize all the members. See, this I need not explain once again. It will call the constructor of the superclass. What is the constructor? What is the superclass for shipment? Superclass for shipment is box weight. See here. For shipment, box weight is the superclass. So it will call the constructor of the superclass. Then from within here again we are calling constructor of the superclass. For box weight, what is the superclass? For box weight, box is the superclass. Again we will call the superclass constructor. In whatever case it is, all the members will get initialized. So how they will get initialized? 10, 20, 15, 10 and 3.41. And ultimately as usual we go on calculating the value and display all other values. This is the usual member access. So basically what we have to concentrate here is multi-level inheritance happens when one subclass is going to act as a superclass to another class. This is here box is a superclass for box 8. Shipment box weight is the superclass for shipment. That is how the multi-level inheritance will work. That is demo shipment, and I'll just show the demonstration of these two programs. Demo super, this one, the calling of superclass constructor. Once we run the program, Java demo super dot Java demo super, right? So volume of my box one is 3000 and weight of my box one is 34.3. That is how we call the constructor of the super class by using super keyword. Now let us see the shipment. That is shipment class Java C demo shipment. That is multi-level inheritance. We are demonstrating multi-level inheritance. This one. Shipment is a class which is derived from superclass box weight, which is nothing but subclass of another superclass box. That's it. Java demo shipment. Right? So volume of shipment class is 3000. Weight is as usual 10, and its shipping cost is 3.41 units. So that is how we can talk about multi-level inheritance in Java. Multi-level inheritance in Java. Multi-level inheritance is nothing but one subclass can act as a superclass to another class. That is about the same program is there in the textbook, that whatever I have demonstrated. So when the constructors are called, okay. So what happens here is, I'll take the same diagram. So when you create an object, this is class box B, which has its own constructor called box, something like this. Box weight also has its constructor called like this, box weight. Shipment also has its constructor called shipment, right? So now in this program, what we are trying to do here is, see here, this line in the main function, we are creating shipment object. Please concentrate. We are creating shipment object. That means this we are trying to create the object shipment first. In the inheritance hierarchy, what we are trying to do here is, we are trying to create shipment object. We are trying to create an object of shipment. We are trying to create an object of shipment. But can we create this without the existence of box weight? No, we cannot create, because shipment is dependent on box weight. You cannot create object of this unless you create object of box weight. Similarly, we cannot create box weight unless we create a box, because when box is ready, then only it will have some weight, then only that can be carried to somewhere else, that can be shipped to somewhere else. That means they are dependent. Creation of shipment object is very much dependent on creation of box weight. Creation of box weight is very much dependent on creation of box. That means if you want to construct shipment, first you should construct box weight. If you want to construct box weight, first you should construct box. That means in the inheritance hierarchy, at whatever level you reach, first the top level object must be ready. That means first you should create constructor of the box. First, then you should execute constructor of the box weight. Then only you can execute constructor of the shipment. So that is what is going to happen whenever you call the constructors in the inheritance hierarchy. That's what is going to happen when you call the constructors in the inheritance hierarchy. I hope you are understanding. So what it says, if you want to create an object of the shipment, that is not possible unless the box weight is ready. Why? Because it is inheriting all the properties from the box weight. It can inherit and work properly only when this is existing. Similarly, this can work and inherit properties only when this is existing box. That means first box should be created, then box weight should be created, then shipment will get created. So that is what is going to happen in the background. Even though you call the constructor of the shipment, this in turn will call constructor of the box weight. It will make to create this first. Then this in turn will call constructor of the box. That means ultimately first box will get created, then box weight will get created, then shipment will get created. So that is what is the meaning of when in a class hierarchy constructors are called in the order of derivation from superclass to subclass. That's what I explained just now with the diagrams. They are called in the order from superclass to subclass. Whatever class you call, whatever the constructor you call from the subclass, first it will invoke the superclass constructor, because once superclass is ready, then only we can have the subclass. This is one example program which will help us. That is, I'll take it here. It will be easy to explain. Calling constructor. Calling cons. Okay. I'll take this example program for explanation purpose. Right. So what happens when constructors are getting called? So here this is going to demonstrate when the constructors are called from the hierarchy of the subclass to the superclass. So let us start from the main function. So this is the class hierarchy in which this is one superclass. A is one superclass. Then B is inheriting properties from A. This is subclass. That is, B is inheriting properties from A. This is superclass. Then B is subclass. But this B in turn is superclass for another class. Why? Because if you can see here, this C is inheriting properties from B. So this is one more class. That means now this becomes subclass of A and this is superclass. This is superclass for this subclass. That is the inheritance hierarchy. In other words, A, B, then C. That's it. C is subclass of B, B is subclass of A. That's it. Nothing else is there in this one, right? Now every class has its own constructor and nothing is happening in those constructors. Only one statement is being printed. Only one statement is being printed. So these are the classes. Now let us see what happens whenever you execute main function and execute this statement. What is happening in this statement? We are creating new object of C. That means we are creating new object of this. Create new object of class C. That means we are calling constructor of this C. Whenever you create an object of a class, its corresponding constructor will get called automatically. That means you are calling constructor of this particular class C. But class C is not existing independent of class B. That means first constructor of B should be called, then constructor of C should be called. Okay. Then the B is not independently existing unless you call constructor of A. That means first A should be created, or first constructor of A should be called, then constructor of B should be called, then constructor of C will get called. That means in the hierarchy what happens here is, whenever you are calling constructor from here, from main statement. From here you are calling constructor of C, but this will not execute. What happens? This in turn will call constructor of B. This will also not execute. This in turn will call constructor of A. Now it will start execution. First A will execute. That means constructor of A will execute and it will print a statement inside A's constructor. Then B will be created inside B's constructor. Then C will be created inside C's constructor. That means in this hierarchy, first constructor of A will be called, then constructor of B will be called, then constructor of C will be called. So what will be the output when you execute? Whenever you call the constructor of C, this in turn will call B and this in turn will call A. Now from the superclass to the subclass hierarchy, the constructors will go on executing. First A's constructor will execute, then B's constructor will execute, then C's constructor will execute. So ultimately what we expect output now? Output is inside A's constructor, then inside B's constructor, then inside C's constructor. Other statements we can write other statements also. So I'll just show the demonstration. So that calling constructors. Right? This is the program what we have discussed just now. Class A, it has a constructor A. Class B, which has a constructor B. Class C, which has a constructor C. And from the main function, we are creating an object of C. That means this has to invoke C constructor. This in turn will invoke B's constructor. This in turn will invoke A's constructor. That means from superclass hierarchy to subclass. So first which statement will execute? This print will execute inside A's constructor. Then this will execute inside B's constructor. Then this will execute inside C's constructor. So what we want output is this order. Java C constructor.java. Right, as you can see output, how the output is, even though you are calling constructor of the C, but this in turn will call B, then that will in turn will call A. That means ultimately from supermost superclass it will come to the subclass. That is how the constructors hierarchy will work. I think this bit we have studied in case of C++ also, and exactly reverse of this is case for the destructors. If you want to destruct B, then C should be destroyed first. If you want to destroy A, then B should be destroyed first. That means destructors will work in the reverse order. Constructor will work from top to bottom. Okay, method overriding, like whatever the concept. I'll stop here.